go, Miss Nancy.
You are good.
Okay.
Take it away, Jordan.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. My name is Jordan McDowell, and I just wanted to say thank y'all for taking some time out of your day to join us on our marketing panel. We've got great agents that are going to be sharing their wealth of knowledge as far as their marketing tips and tricks go today. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and just introduce them. We have Mr. Cason Caraway, and he is joining us from Parker Properties out in Watts County. We also have the beautiful Miss Chrissy Mallouf, and she is an agent at Keller Williams in Denton. And then we also have Mr. Landon Hale, who is the broker at Post Oak Realty in Denton. So we're just super excited that you guys have hopped on and have volunteered to share all of your exciting marketing tidbits with everybody else today. I kind of have a few questions that I'm going to be asking them just as far as their tactics go and things of that nature. So you guys feel free to take notes. If anyone has any questions, you can leave them in the chat. And then after we've gone through and answered all the questions, I can go back through and look at those and then present them to the panel as well. So if you guys are ready, I'll go ahead and get started. Everybody thumbs up. We all set? Okay, good deal. So my first question for the panel, and you guys answer in any order that you choose, would be if you could only do one piece of marketing, be that Facebook, videos, etc., what would it be and why?
I can go first. I think mine would be Facebook, mainly by default. I've not taken the time to do anything decent with Instagram. But with that being said, that's a platform that I know. And whenever you are, or my opinion would be whenever you are going to implement something like this into your business, it must be comfortable. Therefore, it is achievable. Because if you do things, or if you try, like if I went and tried to start doing LinkedIn, right? And whether that's difficult, easy, whether there's a way to do that to get business, I don't know, because that's not what I do. I'm not going to go spend that time and effort to learn that, because that's not the arena that I want to play in. So making sure, just like with anything you do, right, your scheduling, the activities you do as an agent, you want to make sure that it's something that you know so that you can actually do it. Otherwise, if there's no rhythm to it, or if it's just too difficult to keep doing, you'll eventually just stop. But before that, you'll be inconsistent. Therefore, it's not going to work, or has potential not to work.
Miss Chrissy, what would be your one piece of marketing if you could choose, and why?
Oh gosh, you're right. I mean, it's going to be social media. So it's going to be hard because I'm in between Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all of them. But I would think Facebook for me is probably the most beneficial. What I've seen lately is my Instagram is kind of more like, I would say, agent based and other people in like the community, but Facebook are where my people are. And so like when we taught a class last week, we were talking about Facebook, and it's like a network. So it's like we talk about that pre-COVID when you were saying you'd go to these big events. Well, you've got to look at when you're on Facebook and you're on social media, you're still networking with people. So it's building those relationships through social media, finding those new connections and expanding that, and just being the real authentic you has helped me. So I think for me, Facebook, people can see the real Chrissy no matter what. So, and you can do video on Facebook. So you can do everything on Facebook. So it's kind of my go-to.
So to piggyback off of that, how you had said your network, do you find that, because as we know, you can share things that you post onto Facebook and integrate them to go straight to your Instagram, TikTok, vice versa, how they're all correlated. Do you find that doing that helps grow your other platforms as well from Facebook, or do you typically post on Instagram and then share to Facebook? Do you have a strategy for that?
And it depends on what I'm posting. Some things I'll share on Facebook, but I don't ever want to overshare. So some things I'll just keep separately, and I'll just say, this is only an Instagram post. But if it's like a funny, like where I was dancing with that one client of mine the other day, I was like, that's too funny not to share on Facebook. And so from sharing that, it just got me a couple more captures of people to follow me. But it's not like I'm sharing every single thing on every platform, because I'd said, like, it's kind of like when you have that person that sells Advocare, they sell something to where all they post is the same thing every single time. You're like, I'm done. And you quit following them and engaging. So you want to make sure no matter what, you're posting something that people still want to engage with and participate. and you talk back to them. So it's my little tip.
Thank you. Cason, what would be your number one piece of marketing if you could only choose it? Choose one.
Well, right off the bat, Facebook. And the way I would do that is because, well, the reason I would do that is because my number one job is as a realtor and where I'm at is to give value to my client. My client is typically a seller, and giving what is their value. Honestly, they want to see that you're pushing their listing as far as you possibly can and get as many eyes on it as possible. So for the value side of things, they're on Facebook, you know, and they almost feel like a sense of pride and honor and like, so like, you know, happy to see their listing or their house on Facebook. So my always goal is to say, hey, basically go with me and, you know, I'm going to put it out there as many ways as possible. If I get 1,000 views or if I get 6,000 views, the only biggest view that mattered to me the most was that my seller saw that and they saw that I was pushing that property as far as to as many eyes as I possibly can. Some of them hit big licks and they get tons of views and I get this thing sold to that. But the number one thing for me for that was that my seller knew that I did above and beyond what other agents were doing. Does that answer that question?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you guys can take anything from that first question, I think it would be to dive heavily into Facebook and try to use it from every angle possible to benefit your business. So, all right. So the second question, Landon, what does your marketing plan look like for the year?
I mean, we can go super, super detailed if you want. I have our schedule pulled up right now. We have a, I won't. Yeah.
Okay. Condensed version.
Yeah. Essentially it would look like this over and over and over and over and over. One word that is super important in real estate is just consistency. But every Monday for the company, we have a similar post. Every Tuesday, there's a purpose for that. Every Wednesday I'm looking at now is LinkedIn with an update on social about a certain county. Thursday is an educational post for Facebook and Instagram. Friday is an email that goes out to a certain set of individuals with a certain purpose. And that, of course, is a very like calculated, they're scheduled, they're set up, they're ready to go. But there is also beauty in just the standard, very raw and authentic, just random posts, right? Like from a social or from an event or from whatever. But if we're talking about what we do, it would be more on the calculated side in terms of things that we do and provide and content that we shoot and backlog. I guess looking at our schedule, it would come across as more calculated, but a lot of what we do is backlogged information or content that we can then redistribute. So that's going to look different for everyone, but that's kind of an idea of what ours looks like. And then if I ever post on social, then that's just completely random. Sometimes it's me that is on social, but I maybe wasn't the one that scheduled it or wasn't the one that posted it, which means nothing. It's just simply saying maybe it was more calculated than someone else.
So when you're doing that weekly schedule, are you making those posts ahead of time and then setting an actual timer on the social media platform on Facebook? He posted at X time. And do you find that certain timeframes? Obviously, we know that eyes are on different platforms at different times of the day. So you've looked into the research behind that, I assume.
For sure. So we shoot a lot of our content a month or two in advance. Not always. It depends on the use and the purpose for it. But we have those scheduled to go at certain times on those days. We have the Friday email going at a specific time for a specific reason. And it's not a hidden reason. It's because research says X, Y, and Z, right? So that is how that's done on that side. But I will say if it's going to be more organic and authentic, honestly, much like what Chrissy does, I mean, it's going to be very much at any time of the day. Because that is authentic, that is real, that is uncalculated, everything else. So.
Awesome. Miss Chrissy, what does your marketing plan look like for the year?
I come up like, me, I'm like, boom, let's do this now. So I feel for anybody in my office. I do have a plan though. I really do. So like I have a little sheet in our office, and every year, like for the new year, I come up with like, here's our month, here's kind of theme. So like say for instance, April, I'm going to focus on like vendors. So I'm going to talk about like plumbing, roofers, just coming into spring season, who to trust, what to look for. May, we're going to focus on pools because hello, it's Texas and who doesn't love pools, and just talk about in general. Say for instance, September, well, college football. I love football. Everyone knows I love football in our house. We're big Sooner fans. Don't boo me, whatever. So I focus on like tailgating, and I'll just do different things from like, well, I try to kind of like Landon, I try to come in because of our crazy schedule and try to film a couple just scheduled content to roll out. And I try to take a day. I might change like my earrings or fix my hair different and throw on a jacket just so you don't know. But I'll just do a couple, I'll time block 30 minutes and do a couple takes of short videos that I can have that I can roll out for those things. And then in the midst of it, and as things start opening more, I hope to be able to do more like live and more events. But I mean, I always do things in the summer, and I'll do things at the end of the year, like my Chrissy Tacular. I've got my Chrissy Giving event, but actual events like that are scheduled content that no matter what, it's going to be hosted that month, and we're still going to do it.
And so for people who, go ahead, Landon.
Sorry. Well, I was just going to say, to piggyback off of that, Chrissy made a good point. And that is like I had mentioned backlogging content, but she had said changing her hair or maybe a jacket or whatever. A lot of folks, not so much anymore, but initially a lot of folks were like, man, you shoot content like every day, don't you? I'm like, no, I take 4 shirts and shoot 12 videos. And then we use those over time. We may change positioning in the office, or I may go down to the studio in Arlington or whatever, but it's the same day. It's just dressed up different. And then you can backlog that content. Like you can go and shoot videos all day on your phone, just create an album that is real estate content. And you can go and I mean, who cares if you're in the same clothes and you posted that today, and then 3 weeks from now, if people pick up on that, they're stalking you anyway. So,
I've picked up on your haircuts. You have a plethora of haircuts amongst all of your social media.
I do what I can. But that being said, you can go and backlog that. You don't, a lot of people think that you have to have content like, oh, I need to go shoot this, and they'll run out to new construction when they could just shoot 3 videos a day for a week and have content for 2 months.
Good point. Cason?
So I, obviously these professionals that are speaking, I've got a major plan, and I'll be honest, my plan for 2021 has gone out the window because of lack of inventory, lack of leads to distribute. Those plans will work. But I'm going to give a different little bit of a approach to just how I know this is just, things are changed every month. And if I was to give any insight to you guys is to keep it raw, real, and simple, because raw and real is engaging. Anything that's engaging is value to a marketer. So I have a media company that I started called Branded Film and Media just to do my real estate stuff. And now we've branched out and do a lot of other things. And one of the biggest things when we take on a new client that are so scared to put themselves out there, because don't lie, everybody's nervous about putting a video out there. I don't care who you are, how many times you do it, it gets easier. But I know you're worried. With that, people want to know that they can trust you and they know you before they call you. So if you are if you're a soccer mom, post that video of you in the parking lot at the soccer field talking about the real estate. Hey, I just dropped my kids off. It's okay to look flustered and frazzled because you want to relate, or that consumer wants to relate with that mom that's a soccer mom. So just post anything and everything. Don't get too detailed like these professionals are able to do, and they have a team to back it up. If you don't have a team to back it up, pull out that thing cell phone and either go live in the parking lot of the soccer deal, and you would be amazed at how much engagement you're going to get. And then they're going to be like, one thing I learned from UNT marketing, I graduated from UNT, was the evoked set. When somebody thinks of a hamburger, what top 3 hamburgers are they thinking of? Probably McDonald's, Whataburger, or whatever. Just put enough content out there so when they think of a real estate agent, they think of you. And I know when somebody in Denton thinks of a realtor, they may be thinking of Landon or Christy, right? When they think of Decatur realtor, I better be number 1. If I'm not number 2, I want to be right there. And if I'm not, something's not right. And so it can be as amazingly, it's giving value to your consumer. Value can be as good as what Landon's talking about, as in, educational about, pool equipment that's getting value. But you know what else be really good is people seeing that you're just like them in the parking lot of the soccer field and frazzled and busy and hectic, and your daughter's dirty from whatever. Just be real, raw, and organic. I'm going to continue doing a lot of that. And then also another thing is I'm going to start focusing on attracting new construction builders. I want to get their business. I want to get all their business in Wise County. I want every new construction builder to go through me first, because what does that do as a realtor? That gives me listings to eventually procure a potential buyer. For every yard sign, you should get 2 buyers closed at another piece of property somewhere else. That's my marketing plan. It's a lot.
And piggyback on that, you're right. The authentic thing that's the way to do it. I mean, people want to see the real you. If they want to do business with you, they want to see that they don't want to see the fake polish. Like he was saying, they want to see you at the game, at the pickup line. I mean, when John was in the hospital in November, I sat outside because I couldn't see him because of COVID, and he was having major surgery. And I sat in the parking lot, I cried, and I just was real. And I just let people know, like, this is it, guys. This is my life. And I think those are the moments people want to see, that they think is realtor life. You're all great. You play golf every day. We don't. We get dirty. We go in a house with bugs. They see the bugs. I'll go live and show you the roaches that I saw last week. I mean, that's what we do. So I'm with you. Show the real authentic you, and that helps.
And I think too, to go to that, the reason, what we compete on in this industry, as we know, is our relationships, and people are going to choose to work with us because of how, much we can sympathize with them and just show, we're people too, and we care about you and your families. And so I think the less that we care about, like what you said, is, polished and perfect, or having to film a 15-second video a million times because you misspoke a word. That's not really what if you're giving them good meat and potatoes to stick to, all the other things, it doesn't matter. So,
and who knows, if you flubbered on a word, that may be the only video that goes viral. And people don't care.
For sure. Absolutely.
On your shoulder, and then you go viral. I'm just telling you, put something out there. You don't know until you document your day, document your life, and that's marketing.
That's perfect. So, what is the most inexpensive marketing technique in your monthly plan? Is there something that, costs little to nothing, but you see great rewards from it?
I'm going to throw it out there before both of y'all. Call your sphere of influence. Just check in on them, see how they're doing. That's so cheap and so easy. Go network at a chamber event. Go put yourself out there in front of people. People want to see you. They want to meet you and shake your hand and see that you're a real person. That's cheap.
No, that's true. I agree. Because during that snowmageddon, I just called and checked up on people. I sat at the phone for a couple hours and I checked up on people I haven't talked to in years, that I was like, I need to call them. And it was good just to have the conversations and be like, do you have water? What do you need? Do you need anything? So yeah, that, and then be involved in your community. So wherever you're rooted, like Decatur, Wise County, if it's Denton, if it's Corinth, wherever, like, be plugged in and get involved. Find something you're passionate about and take that passion and show others, and they can see that passion and it carries on to real estate.
Absolutely. Yeah. I would go with quarterly calls aside from time that you spend, that is completely free and a great resource for repeat referral business. If you want to go with, I can't say like this is the lowest cost, but a really, really low cost method to interact with people, although old school, that I think gets a lot of traction. Birthday cards, anniversary cards, saw you were sick, glad you're engaged, glad you got married, all those things, those ways of interacting are really important as well, and low cost. And
the most time committing, though. There's a lot of time, but if you're not busy because you don't have any buyers, my gosh, start calling people, start not knocking on. I'm not a big door knocker. Never have, never probably will. But I used Facebook to door knock basically. But remember how, like, back when you were raised, if somebody was sick at the church, they were on the prayer list, and the pastor would go see them or something. Go knock on the door. A phone call or a direct message on Facebook. If you see them, if they're always on Facebook and they're like, because they're sad, they don't have anything else going on, send them a message. Hey, how's it going? I see you're on here. Whatever. That's a cold call, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think handwritten notes still mean so much to people.
I know biggest regret. I think my biggest regret is I did not do that enough, and I need to do it more. And handwritten. It's probably because I don't like my handwriting or whatever, but man, those are so powerful. Those are so powerful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's the little things that we tend to skip over that probably carry the most weight a lot of times. So, all right. So the next question that I have for the panelists is, what is the most unconventional or out of the box approach to real estate marketing you personally used last year in 2020 during the pandemic?
I don't know that I have a answer, like not even a good answer. I don't know that I have one.
Is there something that you had to do to be able to pivot and shift? And
I don't know. There's so many different things. And I think, like we were talking about, the 2020 was such a weird year, though. I mean, it went from being to where, hey, it's slowed down. Now it's COVID. Now it's like we can't keep up with houses. So, I mean, during like right when COVID hit, I would say that when we were having to try to market houses as much as we could, I have like this big like statue of Chrissy, like I'm not joking, like it's a cardboard statue, and I took it into houses and we hid like, and hey, find Chrissy, like a Where's Waldo, where's Chrissy, to try to like get some traction for images for people to look at them before they could actually go in and see them. I did the watermelon drive up event because we had to still do things. So I did like a, hey, come get your free watermelon, drive up and go. I mean, I would say do creative videos. I mean, just my Chrissy giving, which was, we did it outdoor, but it was a bringing the community together, me giving back, but also giving to the community where the need was. So having people bring stuff up. So, I mean, I think in our business, you're right. You're always having to like, you're having to think because you never know. I mean, right now, like he's saying, we're so busy, we can't even keep up. I mean, right now we're just trying to find our people homes. And it is so hard, and it breaks your heart when you have these people that work so hard that should be able to get into home, and they're not able to get into home because you got that cash buyer that's coming from out of state that's guaranteeing appraisal. Like it's heartbreaking right now. So I feel like we're always having to like think ahead and try to be creative and find some ways to do something.
Chrissy, for those of us who are on the call today that aren't aware of your Chrissy Giving, you've mentioned it a couple of times. Will you just put into a few words what that is and how that helps as far as your branding and marketing?
Yeah, well, for me, everyone, my heart's the community. I love my people. I love giving back. I just decided to do a client event where it's once a year. We pick 2 charities. We come in, I feed you. We have Mexican food. We pick out. The first year it was like inside margaritas. I have a bunch of Chrissy swag and I give away prizes, and I have like cookies and food, and it's a way just to sit and mix and mingle, and all my clients get to know each other. But I asked them to come and bring donations. So it's either you're going to bring, like this year was Cumberland's Children's Home. So we had like gift cards for them to buy Christmas gifts, or we had the food bank who needed food and just like toiletries. So we did that. And it's a couple hours. It doesn't cost that much, but it's a way just to kind of have that face-to-face time with your people and to give back. And it was, one of those that, and then also I didn't think about that Christmas light contest that I did. That was a weird little out of the box kind of thing that I went around and did Christmas contest, and I put my sign in the yard that you won Chrissy light contest, and I had a landing page for people to drive around and look at local lights, and it was like the extreme fun lights, and it had to be like in the little Denton County area. I kept it to where it's local because forever people are like, well, go to Dallas look at lights. Well, that's great, Dallas is good, but we've got some great lights here in Denton area. So it kind of was hey, I'm doing this to give back to the community, but it kind of, because I love Christmas, we know we're the Griswolds at my house. But in return, it kind of ended up making me meet new people and getting my name out there just in a different way. Getting my name out there as like the community expert, like he's talking about, like you want to be that community pro and giving value. There's ways to give value without just talking about real estate.
Yeah, I mean, both answers are perfect, and can't even tell you how much we don't need to move on or get going deeper on that, because it's exactly. But the one thing that I did try that kind of I failed because I didn't put enough time into it was Facebook A/B testing. Basically, it's sponsored posts, not just like a boosted post, but are you looking to sell? And then there's a picture of me or what. I mean, whatever it is, I tried different. It's A/B testing, and it worked okay, but then the lead generation and then having them go into your CRM, it just got a mess. It was way over my head. It was so confusing. I didn't put a lot more time and effort into it, but I really think that that's something that's going to be pretty powerful in the future. You see them, like when you're scrolling through Instagram or Facebook and you see a sponsored and you're like, I don't know who this is. They're selling you sunglasses or they're selling a product that you, whatever. Well, if anybody's ever researched real estate or follow Zillow or whatever, are you looking to sell or buy ad would have posted or gone in. And it's not that expensive. It's pretty easy to get going, but it just takes a lot of time and effort. So I tried that in 2020, did okay, didn't follow through. Be honest, it didn't. I need to focus on that a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I think that's equally as important as thinking outside of the box. And then maybe some things that you guys did try that you didn't see as much success. I think that would be great information to share as well, Landon or Chrissy, if y'all had any of those that didn't equal however much you thought that it would.
I had some things because of COVID taken off the plate, right? Now this would be, it would be for business that I was looking to gather or to gain, not necessarily real estate production as in clients, but as we were looking to grow and scale the company itself, there were several, what would that be, like 20 some odd speaking events that I did not get to do from March until September or October. So, those things changed. And you just, you just find other things to do, right? It's not to sit there and to sulk and say, well, this didn't work and it didn't turn out like I thought. Like, who cares? Most things don't. Like, keep going, and I guess something that we would have changed again, kind of towards like the brokerage side is how are we going to do some of our conferences or workshops or things that we were going to do. So we got everyone set up to attend a live broadcast of like an all day conference. And instead of attending that, we had to shift, right? We had to say, hey, we can't go in person. This is our solution. And so that was one thing that we had to move around. I know that's two answers in one, but I didn't answer the first time. So.
No, I think that's great. And having a solution to a problem or, finding ways to make it work is hugely beneficial. So Cason did mention Zillow. So I think that'll be a great segue into the next question. As we all know and love Zillow, right? We know that they have recently become a broker and several agents have been approached by referral networks to sign on with Zillow. If any of the panelists, if y'all have any input as to pros and cons as to allocating your marketing budgets for companies such as Zillow, Realtor.com, et cetera, how would you go about putting those expenses in different ways? Do you think it's worth it? If so, why? If not, why?
I look at it more of just a dollars and cents thing, like them being a brokerage. Okay, great. Do your thing. You paying ads, but you see a return and you see profit. That's a good business move, right? That's just, for me, that's just the black and white, cut and dry. If I spend this and this is my return, 2, 3, 4, 10x, whatever it is, it's kind of one of the things, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Right. And
Landon, you're right.
I disagree, but
how many out of your brokerage? Every time agents that come to you, or like an agent on my team is paying for Zillow leads, I've never heard that they don't at least make their money back on that paid. Sure. I feel like, but you have to work those not great leads, those crappy leads. Those just some not great leads. Okay, they eventually one of them is going to pay out and they're going to pay for the membership or whatever. I personally, in 5 years, have never paid for Zillow. I'd never done it. I didn't think it was a need for me. I didn't want to field 30 bad leads. But now that I'm running a team, the reason members come work under me, agents come work on my team is because I give them leads. I'm always giving them leads. They may not work all right off. So I think there is some value, but I would expect at the minimum to always just break even on Zillow. And then I'm going to go into the next segue. But for me, doing a lot more farm and ranch than residential, Lands of Texas has been a big referral source lately. Giant referral source. It costs, my membership is $900 a month, and it's expensive. But if I get one of those leads to sell, which usually they're pretty hot leads, pays for it, no problem. So, you know what I mean? So it all depends on, how busy do you want to be? That's my first time I've ever paid for some type of lead generation source. but it also comes back to giving that value to my seller. He says, oh man, I saw my listing on Lands of Texas. It looks really good. So I've got it on my website. I've got it on, I tell them it's on Zillow. I tell them on Truly. I tell them it's on all those platforms, and it's on Lands of Texas. It's on Facebook, it's on Instagram, it's on YouTube, it's on every possible platform I could potentially get it out there. Back to giving value. They're like, man, he's the marketing go-to guy, because they see it. And I don't care if 100 people saw it, but the most important person for me to see it was my seller. And he's seeing that I'm doing everything I possibly can to sell his listing. So Lands of Texas is one of my biggest. I see this in my notes here. Zillow, break even, in my opinion. Prove me wrong. If you do great, I would love to hear it, but not a big fan of Zillow leads.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Chrissy. Do you
No,
do Zillow leads or? I'm the same way. My money, I put it back in the community. The only thing I'll throw extra to is my local Nextdoor, the Nextdoor app. So I'll sponsor $150, $200 a month occasionally. And if it's a certain neighborhood that I'm targeting, like my Corinth, Oakmont area where I used to live, it's easy to be the neighborhood sponsor and the pro. And I feel like I've got I've had last year, I think I had 4 listings off of it, so it paid the $150 in return for me. But I mean, that's about as, I don't do any of the others. Some people do, but I'm like that. I'm just not going to sit and call 30 people. For others that can sit here and hustle, I mean, I hear them all the time down the hall doing it, and they're doing great. But that's like he's saying, if they can get a good rate on return and it works for them, there are some that they're doing great, but it's just not my thing. Yeah, I think it definitely goes towards the individual and what works best for their business. So, like I said, realtor.com, Zillow, all of those, I feel like you just have to find what works best for you. And it's, trial and error. I don't know if those websites have certain time blocks that you can do a trial or not, or what those contracts look like. But I have heard, they do work and they don't work. So really just finding what works best for you and your business. So whenever we are getting listings right now, staging houses seems to help them get sold at a faster rate more often than not. Do any of you utilize staging? If you do, are you doing it yourself, or are you hiring companies? If you are hiring companies, is that something you as the realtor are covering the cost of, or is that a cost that you are passing off to your clients?
Well, right now, I don't think you have to stage anything in this market. I mean, just to be honest, let's just call it, because really it's, you put a sign in the yard, there's people making houses, sign on scene, no inspection, no, I mean, it's sad, but as far as right now, you'd ask me a couple months back. Yeah, I do. I mean, I go on that pre-listing appointment. I have Kimber, one of my good friends that comes and works part-time 9 to 2 with me. And she was a designer back in the days, and she decided to get out of the corporate world. So she's my kind of go-to to help me be the bad guy if I have to do the walk and talk and kind of give them, here's a staging report, what we recommend. As far as virtual, I've done a couple in the past. I think it's in there a box brownie. But to me, they all start looking the same. So it worked one time for 1 or 2 homes, but I haven't invested that much. I just pay for Kimber to go. We do the walk, and we'll help them do as much as we can. But ultimately, right now, if the house looks clean and we can get it as show ready as possible, I don't see the need to have to stage the home. But that's today, so that could change.
Not so much staging for showings, but staging to make sure that the pictures don't look cluttered. Take everything off the countertops. Don't leave your toothbrushes out. Don't even have a soap dispenser out. I want people to see every square inch of that countertop. So if I tell them, hey, please take down all your chickens off the top or something, whatever it is, that's about it. That's, a lot of things like the little things. I've never paid for staging. I've never done it. I'm in Wise County, a little bit different area.
Yeah. I've used, as Chrissy mentioned, Box Brownie maybe twice. And that was, I haven't used those in probably 2 or 3 years. But that being said, I would agree with Chrissy. There is not a lot that it takes right now to sell a listing, as long as you're priced correctly. And even those sometimes blow my mind. But I don't deal a ton with, and really never have, with high-end properties. So I think, as Chrissy was saying, anything will sell right now, get it out there, good photos, as Cason was saying, and it will go. I don't disagree, but maybe we could all agree that if the market were a little different, even if we had just a little bit healthier inventory, I think even then that staging really comes into play in the higher end. And maybe that's because they're larger properties, especially if they're vacant, that would help. And maybe I just don't understand staging at all. But like Cason, I've never used it. I mean, aside from box brownie, and I would do one room in the entire house just to show that it wasn't incredibly vacant. So that's my history with it.
Yeah, good deal. I know that some people swear by it. I also know some clients who they've got a little small storage unit that they have kind of a couch and a dining room table and maybe a couple articles of furniture, and they will go in whenever they have a listing and the house is vacant and just use their own items to set up. And it just, helps people get more of an idea on what the house can look like. So, speaking of the hot market that we're in, we know that it is craziness, that the inventory is very low. So do you guys see a shift coming? If so, what do you think that kind of looks like? And when would you think that will be happening?
I think I just got to say the fact that, until interest rates rise and finally people realize that by just testing the market so much, it's going to stall out the market and it's actually going to have to recover and get back to where it actually needs to be. And there's a few scenarios with that is interest rates as they go up. The demand just has to stop. If the demand doesn't stop, which in this area, I think nationwide, there'll be a stop, but guys, come on, Denton, Wise County, Parker, Tarrant, coming my way to Jack and Montague, whatever, Wise, we're good for a while. I mean, I don't care if the interest rates are 8%. I think people would still buy our properties and land. I'm looking at Jasmine. She has so many clients that buy my lots and stuff that if I had 100 of them, I could sell them right now. And if I had, and these are $100,000, $60,000, $80,000 2-acre tracts that would just fly off the shelf because the interest rate is so low to build a house on those, or sometimes any type of house on those, that demand is just coming. So I don't know what it's going to take for this area for it to slow it down, but just the new construction development side of things coming my way in Wise County is the future. And so the shift, I don't know. I don't know when it's going to happen. It's going to have to make some major changes, and we need some inventory.
I can't envision this being corrected very soon. Just like Cason mentioned, I mean, this is going to take, I don't know that I would say years and years, but I mean, surely we've got to be a year and a half or two out from something being back to normal. I mean, we've been below 6 months of inventory since 13 or 14. So it's not like we've been in a buyer's market in the last, pushing 10 years, give or take. I'm not an economist or anything like that, but I would side with Cason. I mean, I don't think this is going to change terribly much. I would love for interest rates to go up so that we could catch a breath. I mean, I think that would be very helpful. But I heard someone say the other day that they're expecting with the, I forget the name, not furlough, but where you didn't pay your mortgage, whatever that is. I forget what they were saying, but they said they think that there's going to be a lot of, repo and lender-owned properties and stuff resurfacing. It's not that I disagree. I guess I'm closer to disagreeing than agreeing. I think I would confidently say I'm not educated enough on that to say one way or the other, but I would lean closer to probably not happening. But I could be wrong. I mean, I'll throw that out there and take responsibility for that. I might be wrong, but I don't, forbearance. There we go. I don't think that it's going to move too quick.
I'm like y'all. I think it will probably be within the next probably 2 years. I mean, and it's sad to say that I would welcome some kind of shit, just not crazy, but I mean, it's gotten out of control, and it's you're right. It's sad. Like I said, it's sad that you have hardworking people that are nurses and teachers that work hard and give back into our community, and they're having problems finding a home to even live. I mean, it hurts my heart every day. It's like we're seeing people that are writing 10 plus offers, and they shouldn't have to be writing 10 plus offers to live in a home and to waive option periods and to waive over appraisal. It just, I don't want it to be like boom 2008 again, but I just want it to be like stable. Like you're saying, like I get it, but with this amount and many people that we have moving here, every time I turn around, oh, I'm moving from Florida. Oh, I'm moving from Utah. Oh, I'm moving from California. And it's just like, and I think since COVID, like we talked about, so many people can work from home. You've got the capability of working from wherever you want to because of Zoom. But I mean, John, he works in the corporate office at DACU. DACU's already said, I don't know why we built this huge building. I mean, why? Because now we've realized so many of our people can work from home. They can do the underwriting loans from their laptops. They don't have to come to the office and pay this huge building for everybody to sit in. So I feel like a lot of people are now like, you know what? I want to live by my family. I want to be out where I have ranch. I want land, or I want that swimming pool, and I want to go to Texas. And it's just, every time I turn around, it's like boom, 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 boom. I'm like, who would have ever thought Denton affordable? There's no affordable homes in Denton. And that's nuts to me. It's crazy.
I mean, I'm seeing it. If even people like from North Fort Worth, I see a lot of people. I don't get a lot of California buyers or like I'm seeing, but what's happening is the people that are California buyers out of state are coming to like Denton. Okay. And then they're going to North Fort Worth. All right. But now those people from like original Denton that have been there forever, they're now leaving. Okay. So I'm getting a lot of Denton County, Parker County people, residents have been there so long. They're like, oh, so your school district's a 4A and you got good kids and you got a good basketball program, football program. All right, I'm gonna put my kids over here now because it's gotten so big over there. And they may or may not be paying $10,000, $12,000, $13,000 in taxes. And they can come out and live just outside of town in Decatur and get on 2 acres and it's county taxes. And they may only be paying $3,000 to $6,000 now. So now they are able to buy or build about a big $100,000 to $150,000 bigger of a house and pay less than they were paying living on a 0.34 acre lot. So I'm dealing with that. So the demand is just unreal with people wanting to spend in the county taxes. And, if you get above with a house on it, 6.01 acres, it's now ag exempt and they're paying $1,000 a year. I mean, I just need lots, guys. I need as many 2 acre lots as I can get, and we got it going, but then there's limitations with that in my area. This is a marketing panel, so I don't know why I'm talking about development stuff, but you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah. And with that, I mean, your marketing has to shift as the market does too. And so it's, figuring out those lots and things like that. It is crazy. We're seeing backup offer after backup offer after backup offer. And it's where these people, they want to list their house, but where the heck are they going to move? And it's tough right now for sure.
If you can give that value to your clients, if you can figure out that answer of let's sell your house for the highest price per acre ever. Let's get that money. All right, we'll make that money. But if you can help them go to somewhere else or help them understand that they're going to be, you got top dollar, but now you're going to go pay top dollar again. Like, is it really worth it? And then that's why you're seeing the lack of inventory. People don't want to sell because they can't find anything else. That's why we don't have inventory. I mean, that's my area. I don't know.
I think that even plays into it goes without saying, but part of helping market yourself is being knowledgeable about things that are going on. Being able to tell your clients like, hey, this is what it looks like, and setting those expectations on the front side. So that way you don't have to write 12 offers and break their heart on the back side, just trying to prepare them as much as possible, because if you're not in this industry at this time, you may be completely unaware of the craziness that is.
I talk about crazy and I'm taking up everybody's time, but listen, a lady or a couple that we accepted their offer went ahead and sold their house, started living into a hotel because they kept losing out on deals. So they went ahead and said, all right, contingencies out of the way. We got our money, living in a hotel in Decatur. And they just watch. As soon as that property hit the market, they were the first ones there and they made their offer within an hour and they won because of that. Basically no contingency, had the cash, living in a hotel, could close as soon as you wanted to. That's what people are having to do to get it done. Scary, but it wasn't like that. It wasn't like this 4 months ago.
He's right. It's crazy that these people are having, like, I was on the phone with one of my friends that has a bunch of investment properties earlier, and I told her, I was like, listen, if you can find me a bunch of short-term rentals right now, that would solve a big solution, because you're right. I have people that want to sell, but it's that in between. And I'm like, they're finding Airbnbs and paying premium just to live in them for a while. I'm like, we just need a bunch of short-term rentals. Like, let us have a couple months. We're good. Sell the home. Let them turn around, have a place to live. People relocating here. I've got a guy coming from Colorado working for the city of Denton. He has nowhere to live right now because we can't find him his wife a home. So he's going to have to probably do an extended stay for a couple of months, like he's saying, until they.
Or they buy a camper. Everybody's buying a camper and living in a camper for a little while. I mean, it's crazy.
There you go. Maybe I can start a profit. I can like pull your camper in my circle drive.
Chrissy's Campers.
Yeah,
there's a business idea.
There you go. There you go. I love it.
That's fun. Well, did we have, I didn't have any other questions for the panelists. And I think, I don't think we have too many people to where if anybody had a question specifically, instead of putting in the chat, if you wanted to unmute yourself and ask whether Landon, Chrissy, or Cason, any of them, any questions that you guys have, feel free to fire away.
Surely we're not the only ones that just.
Hey, this is Jennifer. Hey, Jennifer. Can y'all hear me okay?
Hey, love.
Okay. Hi. So do y'all ever get just fatigued of posting and then figuring out what to post, even if you have it scheduled out and, things like that? Are there times where you just are a little over it?
Yes.
Is that normal?
100%. I play a game, which is why I'm never really personally scrolling through Facebook, but I play a game, and that is how many seconds before I read something negative. And I think the longest I've made it was 74 seconds, which joking aside, right? For me, that's burnout. I hate reading negative stuff and people just complaining, right? That's one side of it. The posting side of it is we feel like, oh, it's our duty. Oh, we've got to be present. Oh, we've got to show we were here, right? So maybe whenever it's starting to feel that way, and I've been there, maybe you're able to start batching your content, right? Hey, I'm going to go shoot these 3 videos so I don't have to shoot these videos later this week. Or then maybe you're feeling it and you shoot those videos anyway. But I've felt that burnout and that fatigue before, but I think it's more for me, it was the mental side of, I feel like this is what they're expecting. So that's what wore me out more than I want to do it or I need to do it, is because I felt like it was expected of me. So might be different for everyone, but I know shooting more than 1 video at a time helped me a lot.
I would agree with that. The expectation gets overwhelming.
Well, Jennifer, think about this. I get this in my head. I'm like, if I post a video right now or go live and I haven't responded to my seller that asked a question about, the lending side, okay, if he sees me on Facebook marketing and doing what I think is a big part of my role in my job, but I haven't gotten to a client or my transaction manager hasn't responded, I'm always sitting there going this guy's going to think he doesn't answer his phone. He doesn't communicate well because all he does is market, but go on Facebook. He's just on Facebook all day. That's a struggle that goes through my mind. It's very, very, very real. So yes, Jennifer, it gets daunting. It gets, but you either got to overcome that and don't ever say you don't have time. Please don't ever say you don't have time, because I know you're sitting there scrolling. Anybody's scrolling more than they're posting, right? I scroll more than I post. You have the time. You just got to figure out what is in your mind that's keeping you from posting it. Is it judgment from your mother? Is it judgment from your brother and sister? What is it, the reason you're not posting? Are you scared that somebody's going to laugh at you or think you're silly? If you can get past that, as soon as you get past that, you will post a whole lot more. And I assure you of that. So that's overcome it in your brain and overcome it to the fact that it's part of your job. It's part of being a realtor is to market.
And you can even schedule it into your day to ensure that it gets done. My wife will ask me, hey, what do you have going on today? I'm like, I rely so much on my schedule. I'm like, I literally don't know. Let me look and I will tell you. Meaning I have a reminder, because I'm not great at it. I have a reminder to get on Facebook, because it's not something I enjoy or even just spend time doing. It's called a news feed, because we go and feed off of it, right? We go and just graze on Facebook and just go through and go through and go through. So I set a reminder for myself to go in and be intentional. And I have a goal, and I go in and I do this, and this. and then I'm done because I don't want to be on there anyway. Now that's my personality. That's just me. So some people really enjoy being on there, but I know whenever I went from, oh, I need to do this, I need to figure out when, or I need to figure out how, I just set a time that I was going to go do it and then just did it. And when that 10 minutes was up, I was on to something else.
Yeah, I think that's huge. I've heard that from a lot of agents, is that, what do they say? You kiss the frog, you do the thing that you least want to do first thing in the morning. And so they may lead gen in the morning, but a lot of people will time block for their social media. As far as personal interactions that I've had with realtors, they say, social media can be tiring, and it's just a whole other world in and of itself. And so they will time block, like what Landon said, to be on there, to post, to interact. And then, they're able to move about their day to where they don't get burnt out on it as often as feeling as though they have to be on there constantly. But Chrissy, you're wonderful on social media. It seems as though you really enjoy it. And so do you, somebody who is constantly on there, and I think you and I have had conversations, you get a ton of business from social media. So even someone where the majority of your business may be coming from that, do you get worn out from it as well?
It's exhausting because it is a job. It's not fun. And like Landon said, in case, and you've just got to do it. I mean, and I'm like Landon, I hate negativity. I'm a positive person. I don't like negative energy, just negative comments, people down. And it's like one of those things that I'm like, I've learned to scroll past. It's funny because my husband and I are different. John will completely unfollow him, and I'm like, whatever, I'll scroll past. But it's also like, I know that, like I did a class the other day about, if someone's taking the time to make a comment on your post, you need to comment back. And so for me, it's like, I feel like I spend a lot of time laying in bed right before I go to bed, just commenting back to people. So because if they took the time to say, happy anniversary, Chrissy, I need to take the time and be like, you know what, they took a moment, they're a raving fan. And the more you engage with those people, then it helps out. It helps the algorithm. So it's like,
that's
for those people that sit there and scroll and that's all they do, you've got to be engaging. So, I mean, I engage with other realtors. I cheer them on. I'm happy for people. I mean, you want to be top of mind, but you've got to support other people. And I always say, like Landon's talking about the negative stuff. People see those people that post negative stuff. I see people in this all over Denton that will post negative things, and I'm like, oh. And then I see when they comment negative stuff on things, I'm like, ooh, I don't want to do business with somebody like that. So when you are posting, like he's saying, like your mom, your brother, like I always like, would my grandma approve of this post? Like you can have a private group with your friends, and y'all can post what you want on that. But when you're public and you're going there for everybody to see, think about what you post.
And I think you've said before, Chrissy, in the algorithm, as far as you reaching as many people as possible, when somebody leaves a comment on something, you respond with a minimum of 5 words, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Try to at least do them. I mean, so like if someone's just saying happy anniversary, like one time I was like so tired, I was like, thanks, copy paste. Well, it messed it up and it like shut down my Facebook because it thought it was like spam, and I was like, oh crap. And then so sometimes I mix it up, and I just might be like, oh my gosh, thank you so much, hope you're doing good, or oh, you're so sweet. I try to like mix up the words,
That's that cold call. That's that checking on them when they're on the prayer list at church. Like, I mean, like if that's it's their reality is on Facebook at that moment. Validate it, and be the fact that, hey, how are you doing? Thank you for reaching out. That means a lot to me. If it genuinely did, say it. And that's what Facebook sees, that interaction, and then it moves it to the top of the list, and you're going to get more engagement from that. So interaction, Chrissy's awesome at that. There's a lot of realtors that are really good at that. Back to the fact that, it's either dedicating that time or it's, like when I walk in the door and my girls are jumping on my legs, and that's not the time to do it. And I know it's very important, but man, it might be late at night, or it might be at 7 a.m., at 6 a.m. time block, or wake up earlier. I don't know, and I'm talking to myself too. Get it done. There's no excuses. Get it done.
But Jen, by the way, you are good at social media because I love everything you
Awesome.
post.
Did anybody else have any other questions?
Thank you, Chrissy.
Any questions? No? All right. Well, I hope that everybody was able to take away some good nuggets that will help in your marketing and in your businesses. If you guys have any other questions for the panelists that you think about maybe after, feel free to email me or Nancy, and we can get those over to them and get them answered for you guys. Thank y'all so much again for taking some time out of your busy days to come and learn from each other. And it's really good to see everybody's faces. And Miss Nancy, do you have anything else before we wrap up?
Excellent show, everyone. Appreciate it. Thank you all. Landon, Cason, Chrissy, thank you. And Jordan, and everyone else. If you like this, then let us know what else you'd like to see, and we'll get some more folks and do another one of these. Thank you all.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Have a good day. Good luck.